Did you know that Muslims believe the earth was created before the stars in the universe? So even though Surah 229 and Surah 41:10 through 12 appear to plainly state that Allah created the earth before the heavens, many Muslims insist that's not really what the verses mean. Why?
It all comes down to a single word in Arabic, thumma, now. Thumma most often means then or after that. But in these passages, it can also mean also or furthermore.
By leaning on this less common rendering, Muslim scholars claim the verses aren't giving a chronological sequence at all. Instead, they say that the Quran is simply describing two separate creative acts.
God made what is on the earth, and He also, thumma, fashioned the heavens.
At first glance, this explanation might seem like a neat solution, but once you look closer, it's clear that this interpretation is more about rescuing the text from contradiction rather than reflecting its plain meaning. Here's the problem. If the writer of the Quran really meant to say also, then why not simply use the Arabic word wa, which directly means and?
Don't be ridiculous.
Throughout the Quran, wa is consistently used to express the idea of things being mentioned together without implying sequence. For example, in Surah 754, 10:3, 11:7, 24, 25:59, 50:38, and 57:4, the text clearly speaks of Allah creating the heavens and the earth side by side. So why suddenly switch to thumma in Surah 41:10 through 12 and 229? A word whose most natural and common meaning is then, implying sequence. To me, this suggests the author wasn't trying to say along with at all. He knew the word wa well, but chose thumma because the intent was to show a sequence of creation, not a mere grouping of events.
Come on.
Take Ibn Kathir, for example. Explaining Surah 41:11, he wrote, Allah says that He created the earth first, because it is the foundation, and the foundation should be built first, then the roof. The logic is straightforward. If the earth is the foundation, then the roof must be the heavens. In other words, the early Muslims, along with Muhammad and his companions, believed the earth came first, followed by the heavens. And it makes sense why. To a person living in 7th century Arabia with no knowledge of astrophysics or cosmology, this order of creation felt intuitive. You build the ground floor first, and only then the roof. But what sounded reasonable to them stands in sharp contrast to what we now know about the origins of the universe.